our goal with this book was to write something that a normal person could understand, right? Just like
Okay.
get the
Yeah.
information straight to the people in a way that was digestible. And so we started talking, and it just kind of turned out that, through accidental, as I say, dinner table osmosis, just spending time with my dad, I kind of picked up somewhat of an understanding of this stuff and kind of felt like, all right, if somebody's going to do it, it should be us. Let's just do this.
Yeah. Yeah.
I,
That's great.
I would say, it's almost like a genetic unfolding because I really don't understand where Seth got all the knowledge that he was able to translate. The other part of this journey is, I'm an academic, and academics have one major frustration, and that is they have ideas that they don't know how to communicate to the world. And so you can work in your lab, you can write your science papers. We're really skilled in making things opaque, not in terms of communicating with a person walking down the street. So I've always been really kind of frustrated with the barrier between the ideas and really the application in the real world. And fortunately, I have this brilliant son who's this great, basically, communicator, and basically took the ideas, worked with me, and made it into a product that's very understandable.
Yeah. So Seth, maybe you can. I'll have your bio will be available on the site, but maybe you can say a few words for the people that are with us.
Yeah. Yeah,
How
yeah.
how is it that you're a professional communicator?
Oh boy. No, I've been a journalist for years, and I'm a filmmaker as well. So, I was a magazine editor and writer, mostly in science and technology. And I was editor at Popular Mechanics magazine for a number of years, a columnist for Bloomberg Business Week,
Oh
and
yeah.
I'm a documentary filmmaker. I made the movie Class Action Park on formerly HBO Max, now Max, and I have a movie coming out soon on Netflix as well.
Okay, I'll have to look for that one. You think it's on Max and be able to get it there?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Class Action Park. It's very different from this book. It's about an amusement park in New Jersey that was simultaneously the most fun place in the world, but also the most dangerous, and kind of about, I guess, why we as humans are drawn to such scenarios.
Uh-huh. Okay. And Steve, I think I have the impression that you're writing your book, even though it's science, most of it's scientifically oriented, um, has really brought about a revolution in terms of the way that that we conceptualize trauma and potentially its treatment. Is that accurate? And if so,
Yeah, yeah.
what was it like before? What changed due to your research and contribution?
It's interesting story because I'm not a clinician. I was basically a laboratory scientist who uncovered a set of principles, basically constructed a theory based upon mostly my own research. And when I started to talk about it at meetings, I was being invited into meetings in which they were therapists. They were basically telling me this is the story that they needed to hear. That it explained how the body reacted to life threat, which was really the missing part in the world of trauma. We were very accustomed to thinking that the body under threat goes into fight flight, but under trauma and life threat, the body may just shut down and people may dissociate. And so people who experience these with basically dissociative shutting down experiences, when they went through that, they didn't have a narrative. They were being treated by the community, by the therapist, by the medical community, as if they had lost their mind, in the sense they didn't understand why the body was no longer there available to fight or flee. So they're accused of being having complicity in the event.
Okay, and so Steve, rather Seth, maybe you can get us started here. Tell us about polyvagal theory.
Yeah, we summarize polyvagal theory in one sentence very early in the book. We basically say, throw away the whole book. If you just want to walk away with your water cooler understanding of this, something you can tell somebody in an elevator, it's really simple. Polyvagal theory, 300 pages of book, throw it all away. What it really comes down to is simple. It is how safe we feel, not how safe we actually are, but how safe our body feels is critical to our mental and physical health and happiness. What that really means is our body's gauge of whether or not we are in a state of safety or state of threat or state of life threat determines how basically everything in our body operates and whether our body pushes resources towards the systems of health, growth, restoration, and sociability, or towards the resources or towards immediate survival. And it can't do both at the same time. So if we are constantly in a state of threat, as many of us are in this world we live in which everything from a vibrating cell phone to spreadsheets to traffic to cable news to everything is constantly making us feel angered and scared. If we are in that state, our bodies are depriving the systems that need resources in order to heal us, in order to grow, in order to restore, in order to think, in order to be our creative kind of best selves. And so what we're basically saying is that how safe we feel matters. And it's an important distinction when we say how safe we feel, because the body really has no way of knowing how safe we actually are. Lightning can strike us at any moment. A truck could come down the highway and hit us at any moment. That's not what we're talking about. That is important, but it's not what we're talking about. What we're talking about is our body using the system Dr. Porges has coined neuroception, which is basically us scanning the world around us for signs of safety, signs of threat, using that information to transform our autonomic nervous system between different states, fight or flight, rest, relaxation, these different states. And in doing so, transform how virtually every system, organ, sensory experience in our body operates and what that does to our body. That's what polyvagal theory is about.